right. Well, happy Saturday evening. It's taken to the nub hour. And tonight I have one of my great friends in this industry, Francisco Almonte. Francisco Almonte, for those that don't know, is been in this industry for a very, very long time. Um, he's a third generation disciple of the tobacco industry. He stands in the footsteps of his grandfather and father, who planted back in the early 20th century. Okay, for nearly 100 years, the Almonte family has showcased the grandeur of Dominican tobacco with their production of high-grade premium cigars. With 68 members of the Almonte family working in the cigar industry, Francisco fell in love with cigars when he began working alongside his father when he was just 7 years old. He deveined leaves, rolled cheroots, which are raw, rough cigars often used for testing blends. Francisco's father, who's also named Francisco Almonte, owned a cigar factory that produced the El Rey cigar, a very popular cigar in the Dominican Republic for much of the 70s, 80s, and early 90s. Prior to starting his own company, Francisco worked under the tutelage of Carlos Fuente Sr. at Fuente Cigars and Litto Gomez at La Flor Dominicana's general manager. Today, Francisco owns his own tobacco farm, cigar factory, cigar box factory on the Dominican Republic, and he employs more than 75 men and women throughout his company. DBL has become synonymous with quality and consistency since the company's inception in 2013. Right now, I'd like to give a warm welcome to my friend, Francisco Almonte.
Yeah.
Francisco.
Yeah, my brother.
Oh, man. It was just like it was yesterday when we were hanging out in the Dominican a couple of years ago. Just enjoying life. How you been in this mess?
Everything has been, thanks God, we have been blessed. Believe it or not, we were on March with a tour number 7, 42 people visiting the tobacco fair, the box factory, the cigar factory. Then we went to Puerto Plata, and we visited the #1 Dominican Rum. And we have a great moment. It's unbelievable. What in China, this thing was horrible. We don't have any issue in Dominican and the United States. So we were having, a good time. And then when we came back to the United States, the problem begins. So it has been horrible. A lot of family members, a lot of people that we know in the cigar industry, a lot of friends of us, they have lost their life, and this is a difficult moment,
Sure. What are you what are you smoking tonight?
Well, as you know, Jimmie, I love medium to full body cigar. I smoke everything. But I enjoy a really sweet Maduro wrapper, like a San Andres Mexico wrapper, which for me is one of the best Maduro wrapper in the world. And unbelievable, that back in the day, Mexico wasn't very popular growing wrapper, and today is one of the best. And I really enjoy a Maduro, so I'm smoking the Ramen #3.
Ah, yes.
All right. It's one of my favorite smoke, and I really enjoyed this cigar tonight.
So I'm about to fire up one of your cheroots.
Oh my goodness.
So for those that don't know what a cheroot is, I'm going to let Francisco explain what this is that I'm about to fire up, and I'll see if I make it through the show.
All right, so I would like to say thank you, Jimmie, for inviting us for this Zoom interview. I'm really happy to be with some friends and member of this beautiful family. Cigar business, something that had been running into our blood since my grandmother and my grandfather. So the cheroot is funny, it's interesting. Cheroot means, in Spanish, we call that cigar, Jimmie, pachuche. Pachuche is Indian word, and that was how they called the cigar. So, you know, there is a lot of history about the pachuche, and one of that is that Indian used to grow tobacco in the riverside. So they used to make pachuche. So the difference of the pachuche is they don't use any mold. It's the ugly cigar in the market. So we focus to make the pachuche honoring Indian native. And I decided to make with some tobacco from Pennsylvania and our Corona 1999. So I make 100% ligero. Because there is a bunch of things and people that say
100% ligero.
100% ligero. So there is a bunch of people saying that ligero doesn't burn because it's the top leaf of the plant. But you're smoking the pachuche is a full flavor and very powerful cigars. And as I searched the cigar in our humidor pack, it said retro hair challenge. So it's a challenge for those people that love to retro hair. So this is perfect. You have a bunch of sweetnesses, but a bunch of power. Spicy for the Sumatra wrapper and Cameroon. And the Maduro has some sweetness at the beginning, but this is a cigar that not everybody can more. There is a select group of people that smoke that kind of cigar, the cheroot.
Now this, I imagine, I went and made sure I had a proper pairing for this. So I picked up some Dominican rum.
That's nice. I'm having right now a rum. I love rum.
Is that Brugal?
And coffee.
Ah, rum and coffee. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a Dos Madera. It's one of my favorite rum. 5 and 5 years in the Caribbean, and then aged 5 years in Spain. Really nice rum. I tried in Little Rock, Arkansas, and I really enjoy this rum. I love it. So the cheroot, at the beginning of the company, Jimmie, many people begin talking about that we have fancy boxes and our cigar were medium to full body, that it wasn't full body. So that's why we introduced the Mafu, and then we made the cheroot, an ugly cigar, and it's probably one of the powerful cigars in the market. It's unbelievable how many cigars I sold of that. I already sold 50,000 cigars of that. And I only introduced that cigar like 8 months ago. It's just unbelievable. It has like 8 to 9 months ago. Unbelievable. I'm gonna name something that happened to a friend of mine. My dad, he lived in West New York, New Jersey, and he used to smoke a 4-5 cigar, very powerful, full body cigar. He loved full body cigar. He got a friend of him, so we used to go on Sunday to play softball. So the umpire of the tournament that we celebrating, he always speaking with all the cigar from him is medium. He said there is no strong cigar, there is no full body cigar. So my dad gave him one of the cheroot. You know what happened, honestly, my man? He smoked that cigar. After 15 minutes, we had to call 911. 911. He didn't know where he was. He didn't know, what happened to him, but he can walk. The world was dark for him. So we had to call 911, and then they supply some medicine. And after a couple hours, he came back. But I was very worried because he's a guy that retro her every puff. And after 15 minutes, my man, he didn't know where he was. So that was a funny story. that happened last year. It's unbelievable, you know, the power that cigar has.
Well, I got people telling me to keep retrohaling, so I'm going to keep retrohaling. If I fall on the ground, dial 911. So this is all Ligero. So let's talk to the audience a little bit about leaf in general, right? So when you look at the plant, right, we've got Ligero at the top, and there's actually above that, there's actually another little leaf you can talk about. And then below that, we got Seco and Viso and Velado, right?
So this is what we have after we have in the greenhouse. This is how we start in Dominican. We used to start in September. We only, you know, grow one crop every year. So what we do is we put 45 to 55 days in the greenhouse, and then we replant to the tobacco field about 10 to 12 inches. As soon as the plants in the greenhouse hit around 10 inches, around that, 8, 10, 12 inches. So you replant the tobacco in the tobacco field. And after 75 days, you begin cutting the tobacco from the bottom. As you cut bolado, I don't use bolado in our blend. This is to make, I give it to the guy that grows the tobacco. So I'm always interested in the second priming. After 7 days, you cut the second priming. 45 days to 55 days in the greenhouse, 75 days. After that, you begin cutting from the bottom. So every 7 to 10 days, you cut the priming. So the tobacco that is at the bottom is more sweet, and we call seco. It's not powerful. You can make a lot of mild tobacco, but it's burned very fast because of the lack of oil. Then you have centro. You have two kinds of centro, centro fino and centro gordo. This is what we call viso. Viso is more powerful than seco. Seco is the leaf from the bottom, and it's a little more, not as sweet as the seco, but it's a really nice tobacco. For me, it's the best tobacco, the Viso. From the top of the plant, you have, and then you cut the third priming, fourth priming, the Ligero, which is the crown leaf. Ligero is the more powerful tobacco. It's the more robust tobacco, the tobacco that has more body.
And why is
the last leaf? It's the last leaf that you cut. Why? Because it received a lot of sunlight, and it's the last leaf that you cut from the tobacco plant. So now, Ligero is the more powerful tobacco.
Now there are some companies that have that one last couple of leaves called medio tiempo, which is
medio tiempo.
So that's like the last bit of Ligero on the plant.
Exactly.
So do you cultivate that separately in your operations, or you just do Ligero and put it all together?
I cut separately. Yep. Medio tiempo is a little tobacco leaf, and it's powerful. It has a lot of power. You can make, you know, a really powerful tobacco blend with that. So I love that tobacco. You know, it's really good.
So now on your farms, you have different seed strains that you grow?
Yes, sir. We growing Piloto Cubano since we start in 2013. We growing Corojo 1999, Criollo 1998, T13 a couple years ago, T13, which is a combination between Piloto Cubano. It's a hybrid between Piloto Cubano and Criollo 1998. And we have a Carbonaire, which is a new tobacco seed. Is in our company, it's a new tobacco seed, but the Carbonaire family, everybody knows in Dominican. So I love that tobacco. I'm working in some experiment with some new blend that is coming in the future, but I love that tobacco. We have a lot of power. It's so sweet. And I think we're gonna get some great blend with that tobacco. Also, I had 3 years working in Pennsylvania. So I really love that tobacco. I haven't done any blend with that, but it's really interesting. It's a very big tobacco leaf, and I think we can get a lot of good resource blending with that tobacco.
Now, with these different strains, they're grown in they're grown in different fields and not next to each other.
Everything, Jimmie, everything is about the soil, the way that you grow the tobacco. Everything is about how you do the fermentation process. So it's a lot of things. For example, if you grow tobacco and you don't cut the top, like you say, I want only 18 leaf or 16 leaf, and then all the baby tobacco, I'm gonna cut it. All right? So when you cut that, the tobacco is gonna have more body, and when you grow some ground too. So some ground plus you don't want no more baby tobacco, so you cut the flower of the tobacco plant, and you let it grow that way. It's perfect to get a lot of body tobacco. Ah. So the tobacco get more nutrients, more sunlight, and I always put this example. It's not the same to educate 3 keys than educate 1 keys. It's the same with the tobacco plant. So when you have 16, I love 16, 18 tobacco leaf when you're looking for filler. All right, because you can cut the flower so you get more body into every single tobacco leaf from the tobacco plant.
Now the different strains, people will generally say that they have different flavor profiles. Like a Corojo tastes a little different, tastes different than a Cubano, which tastes different than a I'm going to draw a blank, but the different leaves, the different plants have different flavor profiles. You agree with that, right?
My man, it's just not just about that. Even that you grow the same tobacco in Honduras, and you grow the same tobacco in Cuba, and you grow the same tobacco in Dominican, it tastes different because of the soil, because of the climate, because of the way that you grow the tobacco, because of the tobacco seed. So when you say, I want to grow Piloto Cubano, which is one of the more difficult tobacco seed to grow because of the bloom more. So when it rains a lot in the field, let's say 7-10 days, you don't have a lot of opportunity to get a good Piloto Cubano tobacco crop because of the bloom more. So it's very difficult, and it's one of the smaller tobacco plants. You don't get enough, you don't get quantity, but at the end you get quality. So for me, one of the best tobacco seed for filler is the Piloto Cubano. And it was one of the first tobacco seed that get more popular from Cuba. So if you grow Piloto Cubano, you know that you're gonna have some sweetness, but you're gonna have powerful. It's not a big tobacco leaf, it's only for filler. You can get binder or wrapper, it's so difficult, but at the end, the filler is just amazing. It's one of the best.
So if you take a plant, let's just say a Corojo 99 that you grow on your fields in the Dominican, does the flavor profile change by Seco Viso Lajero?
Right, yeah, there is some kind of a blend that you use. I know a blend, a friend of mine do that he has a cigar with a whole tobacco plant.
Oh, okay.
Jimmie, focus on this. This is really important. It's so easy to make a good blend, but it's so difficult to keep consistency. The crop, the way that you made the cigar rollers, fermentation. I'm gonna put you this good example. You got the #1 cigar of the year, and you have one guy that had the whole life making Robusto. And the #1 cigar of the year was a Robusto. But you have another cigar roller that made Toro side. But you say, hey, listen, because of the high demands, I need to put this guy that's making Toro side. I want that he made, along with this guy that made Robusto, I want that he made Robusto now because of the demand. Now you have 2 cigar rollers making Robusto, the #1 cigar of the year, right? Even that you put the same tobacco, that guy that has the whole life making Toro, and now he's making Robusto, it's gonna be so difficult to make the same blend as the guy that is making the Robusto for life. Why? Temperature in the hand. Second, the position of the filler. Third, the way that he distributes the filler. It's a lot of things, my man. It's a lot. It's consistency is so difficult. It's very easy to blend a cigar. It's so difficult to keep the same cigar for many years.
So did you learn some of that from Carlito?
Honestly, I can say that my father and one of the guys that I learned a lot of things was Carlos Sr.
Mm-hmm.
Carlos Sr. He loved Cameroon wrapper. He used to smoke a lot of Cameroon cigars, and Carlos Sr. for me was one of the more smarter guy in the cigar business, but not just the knowledge that he has in the cigar business, how simple he was. Simple guy. He loved the people from my town. When this guy came in the in the 70s, you don't imagine how many people he hired from my town. And let me tell you, the best cigar roller is from Dominican Tamboril. But at the same time, they are so picky to hire. They are very high quality cigar roller, but they always looking for money because they need to drink some Brugal at the end of the week. So you don't imagine. And Fuente loved that town. You know, Carlos Sr. is like a father in Tamboril.
So one of our viewers, Jeff Walsh, asks, Francisco, what's the difference between a Cuban, Dominican, Honduran, and Nicaraguan cigar?
Yeah, that's a good question. Cuban cigar back in the day for me was the best cigar in the world. We're talking about 30 to 40 years. They have a lot of great people. But this is, first I want to this is from my point of view. Cuba has a lot of people with knowledge and they know how to grow tobacco. There is no doubt that Cuban people, they are the #1 cigar growing tobacco. Cuban. But I'm not saying Cuba. Cuba. Padron family, Angel Fernandez family, Pérez Carrillo family, Fuente family. They came from Cuba. The best tobacco, you can get it from Ecuador. There is no doubt. Ecuador is not a cigar country, but nobody can get better tobacco. There is no country that can get better tobacco than Ecuador. Nicaragua got the more spicy tobacco, very powerful, all right? But Dominican has a lot of sweetness. And when you try a tobacco from Bonao, from Carlito Tobacco Field, Fuente Tobacco Field, and you try from Villa González, or La Canela, or Mao, it tastes different. But it's sweet, smooth, great tobacco that you can combine with different tobacco around the country and outside the country, and you can make a good blend. So what can I say about cigar from Cuba? Back in the day, as I said, Cuba has the best cigars. They were consistency. But I want to ask you something. Do you think you're gonna be happy giving away 90% of what you grow?
No.
Or do you think you're gonna be happy making $8 per month? So the big guy in the cigar industry have to move from Cuba and continue what they love in other countries, like Nicaragua, Honduras, Mexico, Brazil, even Dominican Republic. So a Nicaraguan cigar, you can get a spicy cigar because the tobacco is too spicy. A Dominican cigar, you can get a sweet, all right, more sweet. That doesn't mean we don't have strong cigar, strong tobacco. We have a lot of strong tobacco, like the Carbonaire that I told you before, T13, which is a combination of Piloto Cubano and Criollo 1998. We have San Vicente, which is a Dominican seed. You can get a lot of powerful, but the tobacco from Nicaragua is more spicy. All right? The tobacco from Mexico back in the day was the worst Maduro wrapper. Today, the best Maduro wrapper in the world is Mexico.
Mexico, San Andreas.
San Andreas, Mexico. It's the best. So it's like that. It depends. You know, this is the soil change, the climate change. Back in the day when I was general manager of LFD, we try a lot of experiment with Pennsylvania tobacco. Honestly, we don't like it. It was too earthy. It was too macho. And it killed the flavor of the other stuff that you put in the blend. 20 years later, Jimmie, one of the best flavorful and powerful tobacco is from Pennsylvania. Don't ask me what happened. Maybe they changed the way, maybe the climate, maybe the soil. Don't ask me. But they getting great tobacco, and it's one of the best tobacco right now in the market. As a filler. I love as a filler. Okay. Right?
Ugly
so
wrap.
This is how things happening. Connecticut from Connecticut. The best natural Connecticut wrapper, the best, back in the day was Connecticut. From Connecticut. Now the best Connecticut, you can get it from Ecuador. You have Sumatra from Indonesia, the worst wrapper. But as a binder, is one of the best. It supports the wrapper. When you're looking for a full body cigar that the wrapper doesn't burn properly, the Indonesia binder is one of the best, but not as a wrapper. So you understand?
Yeah.
That's about soil. So what is the best spicy wrapper right now? Ecuadorian Sumatra.
Ecuadorian
Sumatra. Some ground. You don't need shade ground tobacco from Ecuador. Why? The climate. It's foggy most of the time, which is perfect to grow wrapper. So this is the way that I see. The best handmade cigar, the best spicy and powerful tobacco, Nicaragua. The best sweetness tobacco, Dominican. The best Maduro wrapper, Mexico. The best spicy and natural wrapper, Sumatra, some ground, Habano from Ecuador, Corojo. You can grow any natural wrapper in Ecuador, you get the best wrapper. The best handmade tobacco, Dominican, Tamboril. There is no town that has more cigar factory than us. There is no town that makes more cigar than us. Imagine we have over 150 cigar factories. We have two things that we love: baseball and cigar.
Yeah, you like rum too.
And rum.
So what you brought up an interesting point in that when you talked about the Sumatra being a good binder versus a wrapper. You talked about certain leaf that
Indonesia,
right, that make good fillers. When you think about blending a cigar, it takes a couple of thought processes, right? One is, what is the flavor profile that you want? And the second is being able to select the proper leaf and the construction to get it to burn correctly so that the filler doesn't burn too faster than the binder than the wrap. So how does that work? How do you figure out what leaf to get in the construction to get it to burn right? And what causes it to burn wrong?
Many people don't think how difficult it is to blend a cigar. But the first step that you should know is you need to know every single tobacco leaf that you want to put into the blend. First, you have to know what is the cigar that you want to release to the market. First, that's the first step. What do you want? Second, you need to try every single tobacco that you pretend to put into the blend. And third, you begin saying, this tobacco works with this tobacco, but this tobacco doesn't work with this tobacco. There is some tobacco, Jimmie, that we call macho. Macho means man, macho, boy. So this tobacco is like salt when you are seasoning something. So salt is very, you know, it make a big difference depending on how much you put. It's the same into the blend. So you have to be very careful with that kind of tobacco. So let's say, for example, I want to release a spicy tobacco, full body. All right? So what you should do is you need to increase the percent of ligero. Let's say you have a Toro side and you need 5 leaves of tobacco as a filler, 1 band or 1 leaf divided, 1 band as a binder, and 1 band as a wrapper. So you have 5 leaves of filler. The first thing is you want a spicy tobacco. You should increase the percent of ligero. So what I do is I can get a couple leaves of ligero, and I can put 1 biso, 1 leaf of biso or 2 leaves of biso, and then I can put the rest of the seco. Why the seco? The seco, many people avoid the seco into a blend, but the seco support the ligero to burn much better and to make a balance into the blend. So the first leaf you should take is the ligero. You put in the center of the other tobacco filler. So if you take 2 leaves of ligero, you should put in the center. You have 2 options. Or you put it at the beginning and you put the biso around and then the seco, or you put the ligero as the last leaf and then you have to make sure to put inside the center. Now, you want a spicy, full body cigar. You say, oh, but I need binder because the leaf of ligero burn slow and it's the powerful tobacco leaf. Plus, I pretend to put a spicy wrapper, so you should begin thinking about Ecuadorian Songran, which is a thicker wrapper, and it's very spicy and peppery. So you should say, oh, I should get a wrapper with body, so I should put a binder that burn perfect and support the ligero inside the cigar plus the wrapper. So the binder make an important job. It support the wrapper. So I can say, let me put Sumatra or let me put Cameroon from Africa. It's very expensive, but this is what you should do. There is a bunch of wrapper that doesn't qualify as a wrapper from Cameroon, and you can use as a binder. It should be perfect. Or you can put Indonesia, which is the same Sumatra's tobacco seed, but from different countries. So you're giving some flavor if you put the Cameroon. The Indonesia doesn't give a lot of flavor. So it's thinner binder because you go with a thicker wrapper. So that hurt the burn of the cigar, and you can feel more the spiciness because everything that you're gonna touch is gonna be the wrapper. So that's the way to make a blend. You have to focus on what you want, and then you should smoke every single tobacco, and then you can mix it up. There is some kind of tobacco that doesn't work. As I said, if you put a big quantity, it can kill the flavor of the other tobacco. All right? So you have to be careful with that.
So when you did tutelage under Carlos Sr. and also Litto Gomez, and I believe in Litto, you were you started to learn some of the interesting craft of making cigars. One of the things I want to bring up, you're one of the few people that make what's called a baseball bat cigar. Now, this is one that you sent me this back in 2016. It's never been smoked. It's been sitting in my humidor. This is the commemorative Chicago
Cup 2016. 108 years.
108 year celebration. I'm going to open it up here. I'll take this out for a second. So there it is.
Nice. Nice.
Still beautiful. Been sitting in that humidor for 4 years now. All right. Talk to me about the difficulty and what it takes to do this. And is this what you do, or do you have somebody special in your factory that makes these?
Jimmie, there is no cigar first that we can say, no, we can't. You know, I love challenge. I don't like to copy nobody. I respect that. For example, Litto create, and we were part of that project, the chisel. That was a unique shape. I don't make it because I respect, and Litto is, I can say Litto is my second father.
He's got a
So
patent on that. He has a patent on it, right?
I respect the Hemingway that is a creation of Fuente, the Little Perfecto, short story. I respect that. You're never gonna see Francisco making copy of or style or shape cigar or other company. I respect that one. So why I decide to put Dominican Big League? Why? Because we love cigar and baseball. I'm not relating the name of my company to baseball. What I want to let the people know is the two things that we love in our country is baseball and cigar. We are big doing that. So that's why I decided to make this, because this is part of our country. This is part of our family. This is what we really love. That's why I follow all the baseball team in Major League, because at least there should be one Dominican playing in all the team in the Major League, right?
I think there might be.
We have in the whole history more than 1,000 baseball players playing the Major League from Dominican. We have people in Japan, we have people in Mexico, in Italy, in Germany, everywhere playing baseball. So I decided to create that. And many people have tried to make this, but not like that. So they never put on production because this is very tough. So do you imagine 15 cigars a day of this? I get in trouble with David Ortiz when I went to Vegas a couple of years ago. I gave this and he got crazy. So you know what? 2 weeks later, Ran from El Artista called me, hey, Francisco, Big Papi wants 500 cigars of this. I said, oh my God, this is a big problem. That's a big problem. So we made it, and then they want a 500 more. And I said, it's gonna take like a year. So we did it. You know that we love Big Papi. So we make 1,000 cigars. So when you see the box of El Artista, this is made by DBL for El Artista cigar, exclusively for David Ortiz.
Now, how long does it take to make one of those?
To make the bunch and finish the cigar, 15 a day.
15 a day.
A day.
And what is an average
And this
roller?
is the more difficult part.
What does an average roller make of a regular cigar? Like how many Toros can a pair
Remember that a cigar roller works with a partner. One that made the bunch, which is the filler in the binder, they bunch it today, and next day they roll it. So between a partner, you can make average in 8 hours between 350 cigar, 375. A good production.
And you make 15 quality. Of those. 15 of those.
15, 1 5.
Now, how do you smoke that? How do you cut that?
So this is the way that you should do this. It's already punched. And then you punch here. All right, punch. And then.
Okay, so you're.
The thicker part, you burn around.
Right. Good
draw, good contraction. I love to have my cigar with a nice contraction because I learned that with Fuente.
Absolutely.
Fuente was very picky and with a good draw. And the Padron family. It's so difficult, extremely difficult to find a Padron or a Fuente cigar with a draw problem. All right? Always nice contraction. So look at that. No problem. So, and you can hold.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Very nice.
Right?
Now,
but I have something that is difficult. To, you know, Jimmie, I love challenge, right? Look at that.
There you go.
Five cigars. And I'm going to release this. There is some shop that has it. I'm going to release the pie cigar at the end of the year.
What are you going to call that?
Exactly the same, pie cigars. DBL pie.
Pie? Is there a Spanish word for that?
Pipa.
Pipa. You should call it the pipa.
Do you want to call it like that, pipa?
I think pipa would be better.
Let's do it that way.
You call it, hey, everybody, you heard it right there. Start looking for the pipa at the end of the year.
Exactly.
And that draws beautifully, doesn't it?
Let me try. Just look at that. Let's see.
That is an absolutely beautiful piece of construction right there. Look at that. Wow.
Nice. Spicy.
Now, is that going to be a regular production or is it going to be a limited edition?
Very limited, I mean.
Yeah, you know.
Like the baseball bat.
Maybe it becomes
like the baseball bat. I can make 50 every day.
Oh no, so those you can make 50 of because it takes a little less craft. You got to get that turn just right, though.
Exactly.
Is there a mold?
50 of this.
Do you have a mold for that?
Absolutely, my man.
Wow. So that goes all the way through the binder, gets put into the press. You press that for a day.
The most difficult part is this.
Yes.
To turn the cigar.
How long did it take you to perfect that?
It took me years. Many people have made that, right? But not as a regular production. It's so difficult. So I love challenge, you know that.
Absolutely. So besides that, so you recently came out a couple of years ago, I think it was, with your 35th anniversary cigar.
My favorite cigar inside and outside the company.
So this is one I have not reviewed. I will be reviewing this. I just love the construction of it. The aromas, just, you have a, I have to say, you have a very distinctive signature on your pre-light aroma. All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Like I get many times I get like the cinnamon raisin note coming off a DBL cigar. Is there anything special that does that?
Ways of, as I said before, way that you grow, way that you work with fermentation, a way that you age the tobacco, all depends, and also depend what kind of tobacco seed you grow. But it's really important in the tobacco burn. You have different way to dry out the tobacco, and that make a big difference with the flavor, the taste, the aroma of the tobacco.
Now, do you dry leaves in different barns, different types of leaves, or are they always in the same barn?
Different.
Different barns.
Yep.
Now, do you ever
We had seed tobacco burn, but a couple of weeks ago, one of the barn get on fire because of thunder. I'm gonna send you a picture of that in video, but hopefully we don't have any tobacco there. And you know, we lost some few thousands of dollars, but everything is fine. Now we are in the all the tobacco is in the greenhouse right now. They are baby tobacco right now.
You just starting a little
Yeah, we're gonna replant the tobacco at the end of October.
Okay, so the growing season down there is from October to January.
Yeah, but no 100%, or the available land that you have. You divide it between three. So I'm gonna grow 30% October, 35% November, and 35% in December.
Okay.
I divide it. I'm having a new tobacco field now that I'm gonna start growing tobacco in a different town. Yep.
Now,
looking for different soil, different taste and aroma.
Now, when I visited El Artista, the first trip down there, when I came down with Ryan Gallimore and all of that, and we walked through the El Artista fields, one of the things I had noticed was that they had corn planted around the field. And I asked him, what's with the corn, right? And he says it's a natural insecticide because it keeps the bugs off the tobacco plant because they like the sweet corn first.
That's right, but let me tell you something too. Corn is good to rotate the soil. So as I told you, you hit the tobacco field on October, but before Easter time, you don't have any tobacco in the field. So what I do is I rotate the tobacco growing corn or onion.
Onion?
Yep, it's good. So you can give back some soils or nutrients to the soil. Corn, beans, onion, perfect to give some nutrients back.
Okay. So
yep.
That's the whole agricultural part of it. Now, how do you keep the bugs off of the plants? Do you have a natural insecticide method, or how do you?
When you divine the tobacco, the main vein of the tobacco leaf. Remember, we have a Bat Cigar factory too, right?
Yes.
All the pieces of cedar wood, all kind of pieces of cedar wood, we put it together and we send back to the tobacco field. That helped a lot to fertilize the soil. So we're doing that, and it's perfect. Perfect. Now I want to introduce some worm, and the worm, what everything they eat, when they put everything, this is good to fertilize the soil. That's perfect. How do you call the little snake? Worm?
Worm, the little worm.
Worm.
The little
Exactly.
caterpillars, the little caterpillar.
Exactly. Yeah, that's perfect.
Right.
Yep.
Interesting. Very interesting. The besides the pipa, are you working on anything new this year?
Well, Jimmie, I have a lot of projects. One of them is the third generation, which is I'm the third generation in the family. Believe it or not, and you have tried our second generation. I supposed to stop doing that cigars a couple years ago, but I can't. It's one of the top source cigars that we have. So what I'm gonna release is I was trying to release this year. I'm gonna release next year. I don't have, thanks God. March was a really bad month because of the pandemic, but we getting after April. We got the best April ever, the best May ever, the best June ever, the best month in the whole history, July, the best August, and now the best September, hit June as the best month. So you were at the factory, and you see that we have a building of three floor, and we don't have no more capability to increase production. So that's why I prefer to let that project for next year. And also, I'm planning to go to Nicaragua and blend a cigar in Nicaragua. Blend by me, but it's gonna be made in a factory in Nicaragua, a friend of mine. And I have the same plan to work in Brazil and probably Mexico and Honduras. So every year I want to blend a cigar outside our factory and release, a cigar.
All right.
Yeah,
So,
and as you know, we released the Fancy Belicoso. It's unbelievable, that cigar I can keep in inventory. Is the number one cigar of us. I can keep that cigar, and people love that cigar. So I'm very happy. We're making $500,000 cigar. I
Armenian?
do 500,000.
Wow.
Half million. And I only will going to increase 100,000 next year. I have demand for maybe 1 million to 2 million cigar, but I want to keep that way. So when we move next year to the new cigar factory, we're gonna increase 100,000 more in 2021.
Now, every year, and this past year we didn't have it, and next year you said you're gonna not do it yet. So 2022, you do a retailer event where you bring retailers down to visit the factory in the fields. I've been on a couple of those. It's been pretty amazing.
Jimmie, can you repeat it again, because I couldn't listen you?
I said you do this retailer event.
Yep.
Where you invite retailers and their friends down to the Dominican. We spend 3-4 days and travel around, visit the farms, visit the factory. Great event. Are you going to expand? Do you expand that to areas outside of your local region, to other retailers?
Yes. This was in March was the tour number 7. Unfortunately, on 21, I already canceled the tour number 8 because of the pandemic and all the problems that we have in our country have been tough. So I'm gonna come back on 22 to celebrate the grand opening of the new factory, and I'm gonna expand. I'm gonna bring retailers from Europe, Africa, and obviously United States. So we're gonna make a big party together for celebrate the new factory. And part of the factory is gonna be a lounge 24/7 inside the factory.
Nice.
The purpose is not to do business in the lounge. The purpose is that Tamboril, as I said before, is the capital of the cigar rollers, but you don't have any lounge available that you can go at any time and sit down and smoke cigar. So I focus on that. We're gonna have for our DBL family, we're gonna have available inside the factory a lounge so you can go watch TV, listen music, drink a cup of wine, and smoke a cigar. So this is the plan that we have for the factory.
I'm getting a lot of thumbs up for that. So one of my followers, Kevin Parrow, from the New England Cigar Militia, he wanted to know where can he find DBL cigars in the New England, Boston, New Hampshire area. And oh, by the way, I just want to give a big shout out to Kevin. It's his birthday tomorrow. So
happy birthday, Kevin. Send me Kevin, by Jimmie, your address, and I'm gonna supply you some cigar as a gift for your birthday.
So do you have shops up there that carry DBL?
Jimmie, honestly, no.
Okay.
Jimmie, we have 16 states, and I don't have right now honestly the capability to open new accounts. Right now, no, I can't. I have part of the plan is to expand to Massachusetts with Phillips. You know Phillips,
yes.
The owner of Harlan Cigar, which worked for us. But right now, I told him this year it is impossible to open accounts in Massachusetts. Okay. It is a great market, but remember, we are very strong in the East, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, right, Maryland, Delaware, Virginia, New York. And I don't think we're going to open no more accounts probably until the end of the year. If we open few, maybe 3, 4, because you never can say no, but we don't have, honestly, we don't have cigars. Okay. Our production is very limited, only 10,000 cigars per week. So you know that we are a boutique company. Absolutely. And we're gonna expand next year, but not this year. We don't have no more cigars available. So
at this point of the show, we're coming up on the hour. What I normally do here is I break off into doing a little what's new on Stogie Press in news and reviews. So I'm going to take us over there for a moment.
All right.
And just kind of go through the week. So in cigar news, today I pushed out the Taking It to the Nub episode 27 with Jeffrey Amendola. That was a couple of weeks ago. So that's out on the YouTube channel now. So you can go to this article and it'll have the link right in there, and it's embedded, so you can watch that if you missed the Amendola show. Tarazona Cigars. Tarazona Cigars announced, this is with Eddie Tarazona, he announced the introduction of what he calls the Mazo 305. Mazo in Spanish means bundle. And an interesting story with this is he had like this large order, like over 150,000 cigars. And it was a chain, and it was a popular cigar chain in Canada. They backed out of that agreement. So their loss is the consumer's win, he said. And he has 3 different blends in this that he's putting on the market. And he's going to continue to make these as a production run, he said. So he has a Connecticut, Habano, and a Maduro, and these are going to range from $6 to $7.50. He wants to note also that don't be surprised that it's a bundle. These tobaccos that are used in here are well aged. So they come in various sizes because of the way the order came in. So you can see that the Connecticut has 2 Vitolas. The Habano's got a bunch of vitolas, like 7 of them, and the Maduro has 4 vitolas. So there's some very interesting blends in here. They expect shipping these this month to retailers that carry Tarazona cigars. So that's the news from Tarazona. We also put out a news blast for Jesse Flores. Jesse Flores, as you know, was the artist for Drew Estate, who left last year. And actually, that's one of his original paintings behind me. But he has a daughter who is seriously ill, has been since she was born. But what he did is he had a website, and that website was kind of overloaded with things, some things that were a little too edgy for the cigar consumer. So he's revamped the whole website, and he's brought in a collaboration with another artist. And this particular artist here deals with beer and cigars. So there's some interesting artwork out there that you can purchase. And the new site, he said, is focusing on 4 main points. One is the new supply chain. He wants to react quicker to the customer orders. He brought in a new manager for that. He brought in geez, where did I missed this? So where did he bring it in? Yeah. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought there. Anyway, he brought in a new supply chain manager that deals with the website. He's also going to have a big focus on what he calls fuck cancer. That's for his daughter and other children that have cancer in Nicaragua. So the money that all the purchases there are going to fund to help his daughter get well, and also other children in Nicaragua. He's bringing in a new operations director, and he's collaborating with this fellow artist, Neil Wallenberg. So you can see, you can go through this. So here he brought in Chris Duque from Hawaii as his director of operations and customer relationship. So he's going to make sure that everything flows smoothly. Brings in this new talent, this art talent, so you can see some really cool things that they're going to be showing on the website. So if you want to help a brother out, check out victims1975.com. It will really help him out, help tremendously both his daughter and also other children in Nicaragua who are suffering from cancer and need help. And then Southern Draw Cigars has kicked off their 2024 release collection. So every year they come out with new releases. The first one of that is going to be the Desert Rose. He's expanded the Desert Rose collection to call two different introductions. One is called the New Bloom, which is a famous smoke exclusive that he's working with. And that's going to be a 6x52 Toro. And then he's also launching a Lonsdale extension in that, which will be available for full production and to all retailers that carry Southern Draw cigars. So beautiful artwork. Looking forward to checking this out. I've always enjoyed Robert and Sharon Holt's craft. Fratello announced the Pennsylvanian. So Fratello Cigars has been doing these various state exclusives. So he's paying tribute to the various retailers in different states. He was working with DC, Maryland, Virginia, Delaware, Texas, and now he has what's called the Pennsylvanian. These are only going to be sold exclusively to retailers in Pennsylvania. And that's going to be at Habano, Ecuador, and Dominican and Nicaraguan fillers and binders. And this one is going to be $11 cigar that's going to come in a 6x52 Toro made at the Aurora factory in the Dominican Republic. You expect to see that in November. The J.C. Newman, we are now in the beginning of what they call Bricktoberfest. So this is Bricktoberfest 2020. If you are a J.C. Newman fan, if you are a Brickhouse fan, go get your Brickhouse cigars You can go to any shop that carries them, and if you purchase 7 of them, you will get this very cool mug, or I should say stein. All right. So this you get, and they're also kicking off this year a social media event. So throughout the next 3 weeks, 4 weeks, they're going to be handing out various swag as winners. If you post the hashtag Bricktoberfest to their Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram social channels, you'll be in for the drawing, and it comes with some very cool stuff. They've got 4 different prize packages each week, so you can check that out. So if you want to get into that, just get out there and start posting Brick House 2020. And Drew Estate announced the Hawaiian exclusive called the Herrera Esteli Hola, probably said that wrong, Tienda Exclusiva. This is a Hawaiian-only cigar. This one here is a petite Corona with a San Andreas wrapper, and they're not disclosing the binders and the fillers. But that's only for the Hawaiian market. As far as cigar reviews go, so I did get around to reviewing. I want to thank Felix from the Harlem Cigar Room. He sent me a little care package, and one of those was the Mafu Cameroon box press Toro. So the Cameroon, the original Mafu Cameroon was one of the highest rated cigars on Stogie Press. This particular one came in a 92. I do believe that when you talked earlier about different Vitolas and how they have different profiles, it is most definitely noticeable in this cigar. All right, so the profile in here was uniquely different than that of the original 8x60 that you had. But nice cigar, nice burn, good burn cone, a little bit of an off burn we had on it. And really, it oiled up beautifully. I mean, you're known for this. When I review your cigars, you always get these nice oils on the wrapper, and just had some mild burns. And well, I have this parameter called ash color, so it's kind of a medium gray ash, but nothing wrong with it. 92 rated cigar. The Rocky Patel, this one here was a surprise to me. This one is the Grand Reserve, the Rocky Patel Grand Reserve. This was a spectacular cigar from Rocky Patel. The blend is completely top secret, but they're saying that the leaf used is aged at least 2 years in this. Comes in 3 different Vitolas. I particularly sampled two Grand Robustos, and part of this is I've been purchasing some cigars lately from various shops around the country. This is my little mission to help keep the lights on. So I bought these from Ambassador Cigars and Spirits in Michigan. You can see this beautiful oily kind of Colorado red wrapper, packed tightly. The burn on this just kept freaking going. It was just magnificent ash, good burn cone. Really, the only thing that happened was there was a slight wave in the second, third, but the ash, you go on to buy a box of these and smoking a couple of them, man, I had the same experience across. Kudos to Rocky Patel from big box. You know, I don't do a lot of big box cigar reviews, but when I get them and I do like it, you're going to see it. And this is a gem of a cigar. So if you get a chance to check that out, check out that one. And then lastly, we also took a look at the Aganorsa leaf, the Lunatic Torch Dreamlands Vitola. This covers has actually got a little shaggy foot on it. And this one here, it had burn issues, okay? And you can see as you go through, the main problems with this is you can start to see how the burn wasn't going right. It was getting off burns, started doing this on me. There was numerous touch-ups I had to do to get this thing on balance. You know, flavor-wise, it had some decent flavor, you know, typical cream and sweetness and some spice, a little cocoa and nut. little cinnamon at the end, but it was an okay cigar. Okay. I was actually expecting a little more out of it, but it just kind of seemed to go off the rails. And I smoked a couple of these, and it did the same thing. So that's the news and reviews on Stogie Press. One of the things that I want to close the show
Look
with,
at this, Jimmie.
yeah, look at that. That's just like amazing. So one of the things I want to close the show with is you and I were talking before the show. When people are in different climates, so I'm down here in Florida, I got a humid climate. I mean, I smoke in a climate-controlled environment here in my garage lounge, so I don't really have that much. But if I go out in the patio on a humid day, or somebody up north is sitting outside in a kind of cooler, drier day, you were explaining to me what people should do to get that cigar to maintain good flavor and burn. So if you're in the north, what would you recommend people do?
So when you have a cigar that you already pick it up from your humidor, or you go to a cigar lounge and you buy a cigar that probably the humidity is between 68 to 70% of humidity, even that the cigar is right at that moment, you have to be very careful. For example, in the area that I live, Jersey, New York, Maryland, or the East, you have to be careful. Winter time. Remember, we don't have a lot of humidity in winter time. So let's say you sit down into the lounge and you let the cigar without the plastic bag, and after 5 minutes, the humidity that the cigar has is out. You have to be careful with that. It's not the same humidity that you have when the cigar is in the humidor. It has the perfect humidity, but when you sit down and you smoke the cigar in the patio, you have to be very careful. So this is what I suggest. You just moisture a little bit, all right? And after 2 minutes, smoke the cigar. You're never gonna have any issue with the wrapper. Like the wrapper get cracked, or the flavor, you don't feel the flavor of the tobacco. This is a good example, Jimmie. Winter time versus summertime. Remember, in Dominican, we don't have winter time. So I used to put some aroma in winter time that I can't smell. Why? Because of the humidity. So I don't have that issue in Florida or Dominican or Nicaragua or Cuba, because it's tropical country. Florida is a tropical state. And if you have humidity and you pick up a cigar, you don't have any issue. But if you are in the East, the cigar is gonna be dry. You don't gonna feel the whole flavor that the cigar has because of the lack of humidity. So I suggest to moisture the cigar and then smoke it. There is a bunch of cigar smokers, they put saliva and then they smoke the cigar. That's perfect. Like Jimmie's doing right now. It's the same in our country. When you have a cigar that you let in the factory outside and it's raining day, you have to be careful to smoke that cigar next day, because probably that cigar is full of humidity. So you have to be very careful. Remember this. Thicker wrapper true has 66% of humidity is perfect, but thinner wrapper as a Connecticut, you should keep 68. If you are in a state like New York or in the East, you better moisture the cigar before smoke, and never you're gonna have an issue problem with the wrapper, with the flavor, or the taste.
Very nice. Now, one last question somebody asked me before the show. If I have my cigars in my humidor, and let's say my humidor just kind of wasn't controlled properly. So I bought these cigars. They had a nice oily sheen to them. They're in my humidor for a couple months. I take it out. It doesn't have that same sheen to it. Is there a way to get that oil back in the cigar?
You have to be
on the
careful.
wrapper?
You have to be careful. Depends when you put the humidor. This is some tips I'm gonna give to the people. Never put your humidor in the kitchen area. Never put your humidor across a heater. Never put your humidor, if your humidor is made of glass at the top, never put your humidor with the lights on or in a place that the light can come. Always put your humidor in a dark, fresh area. All right? And always focus on this. What you ask, maybe it's lack of humidity. So you should supply, don't forget 66, 68, 70% humidity is perfect. But you should rotate the cigar too. So if you have a good percent of humidity and you keep your humidor closed, there is no way that you're gonna lose the chines and the oil of the cigar. But this happened when you have 3, 4, 5 years with a cigar into the cellophane. When you see that the cellophane change, it's because that color that is like brown, yellow, is because of the oil of the tobacco go through. But you get more balance with the time. Don't forget this, Jimmie, and the rest of the guy. You don't age the cigar. You don't age the cigar in the humidor. The tobacco has to be aged with the right fermentation process before you make the cigar. Because let's say you pick up some tobacco green leaf from the field and you make a cigar. You can let that cigar for 20 years in the humidor. You're not gonna have no better cigar. So you are, when you get a cigar that is right with the tobacco that is properly aged, you put into the humidor just to get balance and complete. You get a complexity cigar because all the flavor inside, filler, binder, and wrapper get together and make a good balanced cigar. You get all the flavor and aroma together. But with the time, you lose power, but you get more taste.
Very good. Well, thank you. And oh, by the way, I've taken the cheroot down to the nub. You didn't have to dial 911. I've been retrohaling the whole time, so this is my 4th cigar today too. So this is, I'm a super guy.
I would like to say thank you so much, Jimmie and StogiePress.com, for all the support that you have give to our company since we begin. Believe it or not, after 7 years, the company is growing every year. I'm very happy with everything's happening. I hope the rest of the guys have a beautiful weekend. Thank you for all your support. And I'm looking forward to smoke a couple more cigars tonight. Keep smoking. The life is too short, so enjoy.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody, for watching. In closing, I'd just like to take a fast moment of silence for President of the United States and his family, the other lawmakers that have been terribly infected with this virus. Just take a quick moment of silence here. Keep them in your thoughts and prayers. Let's hope they have a speedy recovery and nothing bad happens. All right, everybody, that's the show. It's a wrap. Thank you, Francisco. It's been always a pleasure. I get up to Jersey again.
Thank you so much for everything. Bye-bye. Enjoy the weekend, Jimmie.
You too. Enjoy.
And the rest of the guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.